ladies and gentlemen, my name's Amanda, I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm coming to show you a box which I came up with. Now I wanted to make this box here, which is quite a large box, and when I planned the layout of it, I took the measurements from a perfume box. I discovered that it didn't quite fit on a 12 by 12 and I was quite frustrated because I wanted it this size, so I didn't want to have to start messing about with sizes. So what I did was I came up with a different way of doing it, and I'm going to show you how I did it so that it fits on my 12 by 12. So I've taken a sheet of 12 by 12, I'm cutting it off. First of all, I'm trimming it to 10 inches, and then this strip here is very important, so I'm keeping hold of that. Then I'm going to turn it, I'm going to cut the piece in half, so I'm going to cut it at 6 inches. So I've got two pieces the same size. Then I'm going to get my strip that I've trimmed off the bottom. I'm going to cut that to 4 3/4. My blog is scrimpingmommy.co.uk. All of the measurements will be on there. So if I'm going through them a bit fast, don't worry, you can go and check out my blog. So 4 3/4 by 1 inch. We want 2 strips. Okay. So we're going to put those to one side and we're going to save that later for our sentiment. So I'm going to move that out of the way and bring it in my scoreboard. So first of all, these 2 strips want scoring in half. So we're just going to score them both in half at 1/2 inch. Very simple. And then we're going to fold them, burnish them. That one's just over, but it doesn't matter because it's going on the inside. Fold and burnish, and then in preparation we're just going to slice off the corners inwards, like mite the corners. Okay, and then they can just go to one side, and then we get the first of our 2 pieces, and on the short side we're going to score, let me just move it over slightly, on the short side we're going to score at 3, then we're going to turn it on the long side, we're going to score at 3/4 inch, then we're going to score at 2 1/4, but we're only going to score up to the middle line, so 2 1/4 only up to the middle line, not all the way across. Then we're going to score again at 3 3/4, that's going all the way across, and 8 1/2, and that's going all the way across. Okay, then we're going to do the same, exact same with our second piece. So on the short side we're doing, oops, caught it then. On the short side we're doing 3 inches, turn it on the long side, we do 3/4 inch, and then 2 1/4 up to the middle, 3 3/4 all the way along, and then 8 1/2 all the way along. So we've got 2 exact mirror images there. Okay. If you want it to be an easier process, do it in a plain card, so that it's easier to match up, and then layer your paper over the top after. So we're just going to fold and burnish all of these score lines. Down the middle. Okay, so we have it like this. We've got a very short panel, a very long panel, then you've got one with 1 2 3 score lines on one side and one with just 2 on the other. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it and we're going to cut down to this centre score line here. And this part here with that small flap, that is your lid. Okay, now this is going to be a side flap, so we're going to cut that there where we did the 2 1/4 inch measurement to the middle. We're going to cut across there, then we're going to turn it around. Okay, and where this is the lid we don't need the bottom bit, and where we've got a flap we need a mirror image flap. So I'm going to cut across there and up there, like so. So these are flaps, so we're going to notch them. You might take a bit more care and time doing this yourself at home. I just need to trim that, it's not terribly straight. Hold on a minute. There we go. Not to worry. Notch that one. And then this is a, let me just notch that slightly deeper. There we go, that's better. And then these, oh dear, put your teeth in. This flap here is going to close. So just to make it neater, I'm going to use my corner rounder, which is retiring. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to have to start and use the envelope punch board. So that's one piece of our box done. So this is giving you a hint of how I'm fitting my box on my 12 by 12. I'm doing it in sections. Now, really, there's no limit to how many sections you could make your box in if you want it to fit. And we're going to build it together with these strips here. So this is mirror image, so we're going to cut it mirror image. I'm just going to score all of my edges, burnish all of my edges, sorry. All of my score lines even, oh dear. And then I'm going to cut it in exactly the same way. So this flap here, mirror image as this is going to be the bottom. So we don't need this here, so cut away down to the middle. And where we scored up to 2 1/4, cut that away. This creates again another flap, and that is your bottom. So again, where the bottom is, we don't need a flap on that side, so we're cutting that away. Leaving you with a flap top and bottom, which we're going to notch in. Okay. And then we're going to curl around this, just because it looks nicer. It's not essential. I think it makes it easier to shut your boxes if you round them off. Okay, so them's our two pieces. So now we're going to start and adhere them. So, if you think about it, that is your lid, that's a flap. So at this side we need another flap, so we will be turning that around. That is going to make your, there's your second flap. Then that will close to be the front of the box, etc, etc. So we're sticking them together like that. So you've got flap, lid, flap, gap. Okay, that's how you do it. And then at the bottom you've got flap, gap, flap, lid. Okay, and that's how you do it. So flap, lid, flap, gap, and that's the top of the box. So we're going to attach these strips here to either side of this first piece so we can attach it all together. So this is the part where you need to try and be careful. So you just add your adhesive on one side of your little strip and just roll it over. And you want it as buttered right up against the edge of that there. I'm going to try my best not to get my head in the camera here. Get that up as nicely to the edge as you can. Okay. So as you can see then, it's just the same as having cut it with flaps, but you're adding the flaps on after. If your adhesive runs over your strip like it has on mine there, it's run over, just roll it back over with your fingers. Okay, you don't want it protruding, or else it'll stick to the wrong parts. You could use Terra tape, you could use Tombow. I'm using Fast Fuse supposedly because it's faster. So I'm going to attach it to the other side so that I've then got two flaps. So I'm lining it up very carefully, flush with the edge of that box. And now we have two flaps there. So now we're going to attach this side to this side. It sounds complicated, but it really isn't. So all I have to do is put my adhesive on there carefully. Make sure it hasn't rolled over, which it hasn't. I'm just going to fold them flaps in to make it easier for myself, and I'm going to line that side up with there. Let me just do it sideways. It helps if you do one corner at a time and then like that. Okay, okay, that should be right now. Let me just check. It's more or less. And then that should just fix over to there. So we will put adhesive on here, and that will just fold over like so. Okay, and there's my box all ready to go. Okay, that's my full flat box. Now I have pre-cut my DSP layers if you want to cover it in DSP. So your box will just close together like so, top, and close together like so, bottom. But we're going to put the DSP on before we assemble it because it's easier. Okay, so I've cut 4 pieces at, let me check my measurements, 4.5 by 2 3/4, and then I've cut 2 pieces so you can have one for the lid and one for the base if you so desire. I'd probably only put one on the lid, I don't know, might do both, but if you do, those are 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and you just nicely attach them. So I'm using fast fuse for quickness. I'm going to start and layer that onto my panels. These measurements give you a 1/4 inch increment all the way around, and using a non-fuss, you know, just a basic pattern means it's easy to match up. Although most of the Stampin' Up patterns are designed, carefully designed so that it's easy to match them up when you're doing sections. Okay, turn it over. Come on, don't be naughty. When I did my sample, I did use Tombow. I've quite gotten into using Tombow. I'm quite enjoying using it because it gives you a lot more margin for error if you don't put it on straight. There we go. Ooh, come on. Don't run out on me. Don't run out on me mid-film. It doesn't seem to want to work, this one. I bet it's ready for running out. There we go. Put that on there. Can always guarantee Tombow will start playing up when I'm on a video. Rest at time, it's perfectly fine. Never have a problem with it. So now I'm just going to put one on my lid. I think sometimes I use it a little bit too quick. I'm a little bit eager at everything I do. Layer that on there, and since I've got the other piece cut, I may as well do the base. May as well, and then it looks pretty all round. And then I suppose if you do that, it wouldn't matter which way around you built your box up, and you could lay that in storage for later, or you can go ahead and build it up. Now, one other thing I did do was just put a little finger grip. Just use any punch, any circular punch really, it doesn't really matter, and just punch a small notch out. It just helps you open the box. There we go. This happens to be 1 1/4, but a 1 inch one would be fine. So I'll just build my box together. So you just fold your flaps in and tuck that in. It makes a lovely box. It holds together lovely. It doesn't come undone. It's not baggy or saggy anywhere. It's brilliant. So there you go. That holds together absolutely perfectly. I'm quite impressed that I've actually designed a box that isn't baggy. Now, what else I've done to just further decorate it, I'm going to bring in some Whisper White, and I'm using Daffodil Delight because that's the colour of the cardstock and the DSP. I'm just going to use Carousel Birthday, and I'm using this sentiment here because I just think it's marvellous. I'm going to get a little dauber ready. And I did use, which is not here, there we go, this punch, which is retiring. Decorative, is it decorative, elegant labels, decorative labels? I can never remember its name. Oh well, it's retiring. I don't need to remember its name anymore. Oh, I am terrible with names. I really should write them on everything. So, Daffodil Delight. Stamp that on there. Lovely giblet. It's upside down, but never mind, because we're using our punch. I'll punch that out, and it fits in lovely. I can't wait to show you what's coming in the new catalogue. In the next few weeks, I will, or the next month, start and give you some sneak peeks. But for now, we're still on with the current one. I'm just going to gently ink the edges of that. You can do these in any colour, obviously. I happen to have picked Daffodil Delight because it's one of the few 12 by 12 colour cardstocks that I have left. I need to get some more. And I did make one here in, the lid's gone a bit skew with, Flirty Flamingo and Peekaboo Peach. So that's inked. I'm going to use my leftovers here. I'm going to punch out a spare. I'll ink that up as well. A bit more ink. Just gives that edge a nice darker look so it stands out slightly. Okay, put that on there. I'm going to layer them both up. Just going to use a little bit of fast fuse, like so. Okay. Now I'm going to use some of this white ribbon, which comes from the So Succulents section in the Spring Summer catalogue, and I'm just going to tie it at the side, just gently, just for a bit of fancy. Right, I'll tie it there and then I'll swish it round. So I'm just going to tie it in a knot. Fingers and thumbs, and then tie it in another knot. I find this ribbon a bit thick for tying bows, so I'm just going to use it as a bit of fancy. So I'm just going to trim that off there and trim that off there, and I've just pulled it to one side like so. And then I'm going to get my sentiment and my, where are they? Stampin Up dimensionals. Oh, I must be starting a new pack. Just put a couple of these on. 1, 2, 3. Pull the ends off. There we go. And we get it the right way up, it might help. And then just attach that, just move that over a little bit. Attach that to the centre. Lift my ribbon over the top, attach that. Oh, it needs another dimensional there, look. Let me just put another one on. Because of the ribbon, I've forgotten to take account of it. I'll just add one there. Oopsie daisy. Help it stick to the box. There we go. Now what I did do on this one, if I just show you my original sample, I did add the petite petals. I used a Flirty Flamingo and just added a little bit of extra interest, but you can dress them up or dress them down as much as you want. But the fun thing is that you can keep them folded flat until you want to use them, and you can decorate them how you like. I hope that helps. Create any box you like with any size paper and just join it in panels. Thanks for watching. Bye.